So here we are doing the virtual interview. I was real excited about the performance on March 21st that never happened,
Yeah.
but you know, here we are, and I'm
Sorry,
just
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let me put my video on so you can see me.
okay. Now I see you.
Okay.
Well, cool. So yeah, where are you speaking from right now?
I'm at home in Florida. I live in Hollywood, Florida.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right, cool. I see your traps behind you.
Oh yeah, I have my thing, but I have my real drums on the right side of this.
Yeah, I see
This is
the
really
digital.
this is really my studio here.
Very cool. Well, this is my kind of everything space when I do work and listen to music.
Nice, nice. I see
So
nice pictures up there.
yeah, well, you know, Eric Dolphy and Miles and John Lennon and Grover Washington Jr. and BB King and so,
I know, yeah.
how old were you when you first realized you loved music? Not just listening to music around the house, but when you knew it was in you.
That was really young. I started really young. I was like about 6 or 7 years old, and I already asked my mom to buy me a guitar, and I started since then, and I haven't stopped since then. So
And that,
I started on guitar, and then like a 1 year or a couple of years later, I started playing bongos, and then I start getting, myself switch into the percussion family. And then from then on, I went to at 10 years old, I went to the classical training conservatory in my hometown of Santa Clara, Cuba.
mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, that was one of my questions. You know, what was your first instrument? I saw that you were playing percussion and guitar, and what had you move into drums?
Um, well, being already in love with the percussion, which at first was hand percussion because that's the first experience that I had on percussion. Um, I that was about 10 years. 10 years. I was 10 years or 11 years, and I did it because to me it was. I mean, I had a very big influence. Is someone I was playing in the. I was studying in the school, but already I was going out and seeing bands, and there was this drummer. His nickname is El Peje, and he used to play in a kind of a big band settings. He was very virtuosic, and to me, being a little kid and seeing that guy playing the drums was an amazing experience. And now later on we became friends, and we really have a good relationship. But that was kind of a very inspirational moment on how I started you know playing drums.
So what kind of influence did Irakere have on you?
Well, Irakere was a very established band already when I was a little kid, and I used to listening in the radio. I used to seeing them on TV when I was a kid, um, and then later on I see them a few times live. Even though by the time I was in Havana, they were already they wasn't they weren't playing that often, and that was they weren't doing that much as a band. Chucho was doing some other uh, you know uh, some other performances and some other ensembles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it oops it it played a great influence on me, and actually the drummer on Irakere, Enrique Pla, he's from Santa Clara also.
Oh, is he?
And yeah, no, I met him in Havana, but I later on knew that he was from Santa Clara. And Irakere is one of those amazing bands that really put a stamp and developed and pushed the music in so many different directions, and because he had great musicians in it. I mean, there was an amazing lineup of musicians, including Chucho, who was the musical director, but everybody else around it
And
also.
Paquito
Yeah,
and Arturo and yeah.
and Oscar Valdez, which who was an unbelievable link into doing a lot of the stuff that they did also with the Afro-Cuban music. Oscar Valdez was the percussionist that sing also. He was the lead singer,
Mm-hmm.
and they did amazing stuff, and we're really blessed to have had that band live for a long time in Cuba.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were amazing, and they were great improvisers, and great virtuosos, instrumentalists on their own rights, each of them.
And what's cool is your most recent album, Back to the Sunset, in that big band format. What I really like about there's a lot I like about your music, but you have performed and recorded in a trio setting, in a quartet setting, a quintet setting, a sextet setting, and a big band setting. There's not many musicians that play that variety of a gathering of musicians, and I find them all very interesting. How do you decide what format you're going to be working with?
Well, I kind of it kind of comes from a sound first. I mean, if I have, let's say that I'm building up, that I have some tunes and I hear them, it has to do a lot with how you hear the songs. And how you hear that arrangement of it. Going more into the musical realm, it's about listening. Some songs, for example, I just hear it as a trio, and I would not even bother to do a big band arrangement of it, because I feel it's forced, and I feel it's almost, in a way, it's almost like cheating. So I kind of have try to keep as much as possible a sincere relationship with music. At least the music that I can control, something that it comes out of me and I can expose and I can share. That relationship with music, I want it always to be as much sincere as possible.
So I've got questions from these high school students at Waltrip High School. DACAMERA, is very engaged in our youth here. We've got, of course, the High School for Performing and Visual Arts, which is a veritable incubator for jazz musicians. But the Waltrip High School, Andrew Garza, he's a 10th grade drummer, and he asks you this.
My question is, how are you staying in shape musically during this time?
I'm doing basically the same thing. I've always been in quarantine. I mean, if I'm not teaching at school or touring, I'm here at home doing creative, writing music and practicing some and trying to keep myself in shape. That's what I do normally without the quarantine. So to me, I feel like it's almost the whole world has become like me.
Well, I've got a couple more questions from the Waltrip High School music students.
Hi, I'm Emily Polly, and I'm a 12th grader that plays piano in the Waltrip High School Jazz Band. Who musically was your major influence as a younger musician, and who or what influences you now?
Wow, I have many. I don't have one person that influenced me the most. I have a few of them. I mean, I can mention, for example, a band that in Cuba is kind of very well known. It's one of the best well known, like Los Bambam, for example. It's a popular Cuban popular music band that, to me, always felt like, when you put the first, just any sound, any music that they play, to me was so joyful and so representative of what I was feeling at that moment.
What about now?
Now, it's the same. There are many. I don't have one person specifically. I mean, I admire and get inspiration by also the variety. And that's what I like too. I like the fact that I can, listen to a recording by Monk and then go and listen to a recording by you know, or Ned Coleman, or a Meto Pascual, or a Beto Gismonti, or Bill Evans, which is completely different. You know, it's
Each
quite,
one of them is wow.
you know, it's like saying I'm the kind of person who loves Bill Evans and also Monk, which is almost, you know, quite the opposite. And the same thing in drumming, you know, like Elvin Jones versus Buddy Rich. I love them both. And you know, I get driven by them both. And what I love about it is that I'm open enough to accept who they are and to understand who they are as they are, and not try to change them. I don't try to look the values of that has Buddy Rich on Elvin Jones. And I don't try to ask Elvin Jones in my mind to acquire the attributes that Buddy Rich has. So I'm accepting and understanding who they are as they are. So that's why I don't have only one. Like I didn't have really someone that's influenced me the most, because it's so many different ones.
Well, I have a couple more questions by these high school students, and we can kind of wind down.
Hello, my name is Angel Lopez. I'm a 12th grader, and I play trombone for the Waltrip High School Jazz Band. My question is, what music do you listen to or are working on right now? Thank you.
Well, right now, I just finished a recording that is going to be hopefully released in the fall with the sextet, with the sextet, my sextet album. I wrote all new music. We went to the Jazz Standard. We played at the Jazz Standard 1 week before the shutdown, and we went to the studio after the run at the Jazz Standard, and we went to record. And 2 days after, it started the lockdown and the whole thing, and I came back to my home. But I left New York with the double thing. I feeling sad for the situation, but also happy because I was able to do it in the last minute, everything that I wanted to do.
Cool.
So I did a recording, and that's what I've been working on. I just published my second book now, entitled Rhythmic Synchronicity, which is basically a book for non-drummers to improve their rhythmic ability.
Well, the last question is from Robin, who is a 10th grade trumpeter.
My question to you is, what is it like to be a performer and band leader, along with having the opportunity to work with so many talented musicians?
Well, it's great. It's my dream. I always wanted to be a musician since I was a kid, and you know, to me, this is the dream come true. This is what I love doing. I do it because I love it. I do it out of necessity from my heart. If I don't do it, then I dry out. So, and you know, the experience of playing with amazing musicians is always that I'm always learning from them. And also I like the fact that, you know, just sharing information and learning so much by playing with them. There is a lot of things in music that work in an intuitive level, and in a sense of things that they're hardly to describe, but you learn from them, from the experiences. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's to me, that's what I love doing.
Well, listen, man, thanks a lot for the time. We'll stay in touch, and
Yep.
God bless you, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. The same to you. All the best.
Okay. Yeah. Take care.
Bye.